Do love that bell. Now, after a flurry of sleaze allegations, can Sir Keir Starmer survive as Prime Minister? There are now even concerns about his temperament following these concerning remarks from Sky News' political editor Beth Rigby about her experience interviewing the Prime Minister last week.
I was trying to say is, do you understand how it looks when you present yourself as one thing and then you allow a perception to build that you're just like the others, you're taking freebies? At one point I said to him, some people might think this is continuity Johnson, you're taking freebies from rich friends. He was absolutely furious with me. It was really uncomfortable.
Really uncomfortable. Damning words there from Beth Rigby. With no deep well of support within the party for this ailing Premier, and with respected MP Rosie Duffield having quit Labour in fury, could he be gone by Christmas? And here's a question for you. Is Sir Keir Starmer fit to be Prime Minister? Let me know your thoughts. gbnews.com/your say or tweet us at gbnews. First up, let's get the views of Labour Party activist and writer Aisha Ali Khan and former Conservative MP and Minister Andrea Jenkins. Aisha, good to have you on the programme. Is Sir Keir fit to be Prime Minister?
Absolutely. He's only been in office, not even a full 3 months. Let's give him a proper chance. Yes, we've had a few really uncomfortable headlines, myself included in that uncomfortable crowd. But look, we've only just been returned to power after 14 years. It's been a long time. There's a lot of things to do, a lot of cleaning up to do. And I think we need to give him a proper chance. These kind of things that obviously have come to light, wish they hadn't, because it just makes everybody quite uncomfortable. There was no need for, say, for example, the freebie clause and so on. But I think let's just give him a chance. There's a lot of work to do, and I have my full total faith in him, in Rachel Reeves, and the rest of the party right now.
Aisha, statistically, Sir Keir Starmer is the greediest Member of Parliament. £110,000 worth of goodies since 2019. And he's been angry with a very senior female political reporter at Sky News and made her feel uncomfortable. I don't think this guy has got the right temperament for the job, or indeed the right character, does he?
Well, first of all, I agreed with what Beth was saying. He should have just apologised. He should have got upset. He should not have got angry.
He made her uncomfortable.
When he makes a mistake. Well, this is exactly what I'm saying. In any given circumstances, the person who is leading our country right now, he should have just said, "Look, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. Let's work together to make sure it doesn't happen." And in many aspects, he has done this right now. He's already apologised for the clothes. He's already said that's not going to happen anymore. So there are things that he's doing, making amends and moving on. Obviously, look, I wish that these headlines, I've had lots of people contact me and say, "What's going on here? You were out there campaigning and so on. This doesn't look good." And I absolutely agree it doesn't. But I'm saying, it's only been 3 months, not even proper 3 months. Let's give him a chance. Let's see what's going on. There's been so many positive things that have already happened in the last 12 weeks or so. And I'm really confident that we are definitely going to have many more positive things that are going to happen.
Well, I think Aisha, you've got common sense, and you're absolutely right that an apology is the answer. I don't think we've had an apology from Sir Keir Starmer. And Dame Andrea Jenkins, I think that's because of his temperament and his attitude. I think he's arrogant, and I think he might have a problem with women.
I mean, I think, Mark, it's what a disastrous 3 months for any Prime Minister in office. Normally they have a bounce, don't they, in the polls. Normally they have a honeymoon period, but he's not had that whatsoever. I think it actually stinks because he is so sanctimonious. Starmer is so hypocritical and, quite frankly, has had an easy ride with the other mainstream media, Mark. Not GB News. GB News have been fair on both sides. You always get, like you can see, you got Aisha on today. But let's face it, Sky News have quite given him an easy ride. So he was actually probably shocked that they're actually challenging him for once. And I think his mask slipped and we saw this other side to him, Mark.
Do you think it's appropriate that the Prime Minister should make a senior television journalist feel, and I quote, very uncomfortable?
No, of course it's not. Not whatsoever. And let's face it, Beth has been doing Sky for years and years, and she's interviewed so many people. For her to feel uncomfortable, she's quite a strong cookie. It must have been a difficult situation, Ma.
Aisha, Diane Abbott has said that Keir Starmer treated her like a non-human, and Rosie Duffield, Labour MP, who has now renounced the Labour whip and left the party in the Commons, said she was ignored by Starmer whilst she received rape and death threats for pointing out there are two biological sexes. Does Keir Starmer have a problem with women?
Absolutely not. No way. I think these, obviously, individuals like Diane, I have so much respect for Diane, and obviously Rosie as well. I think these the circumstances in both those situations absolutely did not agree with Diane Abbott being ignored. She was suspended. She complained. She tried to get hold of the Keir Starmer in the office. Did it happen for a long time? Absolutely wrong. I will actually call out if there's something that's wrong. I will call out. I will not stay quiet and agree and nod my head. Absolutely not. Again, Rosie just resigned over the weekend, and she again penned a letter saying she wasn't happy. But my position is this: we have waited 14 years. As soon as we've returned to power, we've started making massive changes. I am a classroom teacher. I've already seen a massive change in what's going on in schools.
But do you want 14 years with a duff in charge? Let's face it, if he's incompetent, why would you want to keep him there?
I don't think Keir Starmer is incompetent. I think he's showing, obviously, he's moving forward. He's got quite a tricky start to his leadership. There's been the £22 billion.
It's self-inflicted, though, let's face it. Self-inflicted.
Well, the 22 billion pounds was under your watch, was under the Tories' watch, and that's another massive issue. That
half of that went to train drivers and junior doctors.
Exactly.
Sorry, I missed that.
Half of that 20 billion went to train drivers and junior doctors.
That's not that. I don't accept that at all. I think,
and on the net zero agenda, what Miliband's pledged to.
But this is something that Boris Johnson himself introduced. These are the policies that were basically introduced under the Conservative leadership.
So are you saying there's no difference between Labour and Conservative? We may as well continue Conservative.
I think what you'll find, there's a lot more transparency and a lot more willingness to put hands up and say we've done wrong. I mean, look, we're still trying to find 15 billion. From the COVID, what happened to that money?
All right, well, listen, let me tell you, I did say that sparks would fly. Aisha, what a delight to have you on the programme. I hope you'll join us again in the near future. My thanks to Aisha Ali Khan, and also delighted once again to see former Conservative MP and Minister Dame Andrea Jenkins. But following the ongoing row over freebies and sleaze, not to mention feared tax rises in the budget and the removal of the winter fuel allowance for 10 million pensioners, have Labour already lost the next general election? Let's get the views of legendary former newspaper editor and the founder of TalkSport Radio, Kelvin Mackenzie. Kelvin, is Sir Keir Starmer's goose already cooked?
Well, I think it's half cooked. I mean, you'd be a genius to forecast what was going to happen in 5 minutes' time in politics, let alone 5 years. But what is clear is that Starmer has poor political antennae. He's cunning, and he's not I find it impossible to understand why somebody who makes as much money as he does and a leading lawyer, why does he need 32,000 quid's worth of suits? If you bought them at M&S, top-of-the-range grey suit, not dissimilar from your own.
Moss,
right?
Yes, you're welcome. Not Primark, how dare you?
That would be 150 quid. That means he would buy 200 suits. So he clearly didn't do that. He probably bought 10 from Savile Row, right? Now, he's talking to the, quotes, poor all day long. This is what he thinks of the poor. He says, actually, you're poor and you're old. We're going to take 300 quid off you this year. And by the way, we're going to do it every year for the 5 years we're in power. So he has lost the old vote. The old vote in this country, as Cameron worked out, which was the only decent legacy, is massively important. So I would say that he will continue to make mistakes. But come October the 30th, he will be working, because he will have been surprised at the massive pushback on this. So he will be working, and Rachel Thieves will be also working very hard to make sure that they don't do anything more to aggravate the poor and their Labour base. The reality is with social media, there is no chance at all of Labour being re-elected with anything like this. If they have any majority in 5 years' time, I'll be absolutely astonished. And Reform will be looking across Europe right now and watching whether it's in Netherlands or in Austria or in some of the German states.
Yeah, France.
They will be, and France, they will be, so I'm Nigel Farage. I am saying to myself, this is my time. And the Tories should be very, very careful who they pick, because if they pick somebody, a Tugendhat, for instance, honestly, they will not only be...
Centrist figure.
Yeah.
A wet One Nation Tory.
Yes, if they do that, they will be out not for 5 years, they will be out for the 10 that they fear.
Now, Sir Keir Starmer will be very clear that he hasn't broken any rules, no law has been broken. And of course, Rachel Reeves has to have that rather brutal budget because of the financial hot mess left by the Conservatives. But Kelvin, you know Fleet Street inside out. Now, there's no deep well of goodwill towards Keir Starmer within the Labour Party. We've seen that now with the defection of Rosie Duffield. The left can't stand him. Hashtag Keir out is often trending on Twitter.
Yeah.
So I think the party movement of Labour doesn't particularly love Keir Starmer. What about the press? Is there a well of goodwill towards Keir Starmer in Fleet Street?
No. I mean, one of the more bizarre and more ridiculous and a huge mistake by Rupert Murdoch was to say, I want you to back Starmer. I'm not sure how to spell his name, but I really want him out. And in doing so, that was a huge error. The first thing that happened was their sale collapsed, right? And they didn't have many anyway. I mean, this is not like the old days under that bloke Kelvin Mackenzie, 4 million plus. It's now it's about 4. So, that was a huge error. But what Starmer was doing was something cunning. What he was doing was holding Leveson 2 over them. I won't bother going into the details of it, but it would be a catastrophe for a free press if Leveson 2 came in. And so the Sun and the idiots who decided this decided to go for Starmer. Yeah. They will not believe in Starmer.
Right. Well, of course, the Sun would argue they picked the winner, but I'm not so sure that's going to age well. Do you think that Fleet Street have got more on Keir Starmer? Is there more to come? Because I've been shocked by what we've seen so far.
Well, they seem...
Is there a campaign now? Are they out to get him? Have they drawn blood? Because you know how journalists work.
Yes. Well, they're all looking. They're all looking for any piece of information which will damage him. And if you go onto the online world, go into social media, which I'm not particularly advocating on this subject, there are all kinds of allegations left, right and centre. What puzzles me about this is why it is that Starmer hasn't acted against these allegations. There's a load of rather crappy lawyers out there who could jump on all this, but they need the Prime Minister's go-ahead. And some of the stuff is quite raw.
Do you think he's in serious trouble? Could he be gone by Christmas if this continues, if the bad headlines keep coming?
He won't be gone by Christmas unless one of the allegations I've seen on social media turns out to be correct. So I would say there's a load of rubbish online, and if there's an element of truth, then he will be in trouble.
Let's talk about Prince Harry. He's landed in the UK. The prodigal prince has graced us with his presence for a charitable cause. 7th day in a row in the absence of his wife, Meghan. Is there trouble in paradise?
Well, if there is, he hasn't told me anything about it, I must say. As distinct from some of those royal editors who seem to know what's going on from 6,000 miles away. All I would say is she clearly doesn't want to be here, right? And actually, funnily enough, the people in this country don't want her here. I think they'd probably like to see Harry's children. But this is a long, drawn-out kind of war, which all families have these issues. All families have these issues. The thing I would most like to see is actually Harry to go and see Kate, right, and see whether something could be done there. It's unlikely to be done with the brother. I mean, the father's got cancer, the sister-in-law's got cancer. It is incumbent on Harry to make the first move, right? He's the one who is not ill. And it's pathetic to see this kind of warfare paid out in public.
There you go. A bit of tough love from the legendary Kelvin Mackenzie. Kelvin, catch up soon. Looking very well. What a sharp whistle you're wearing tonight. Blimey, I can smell the money from here. Now,